Hey, what's going on, Steaky? This is going to be a six-man's game, actually, so the ranks are going to be ranging from around Champ 1 to Grand Champ 1, I've heard. So we'll be talking about how you should be playing at a faster pace than what you're probably normally used to. I am Renf. I've been coaching for a little over 2 years now. I think this July is when it will be my 3-year anniversary. I've coached over 350 private clients ranging from Plat all the way up to semi-pro level. And you found me on Rocket League Help, it looks like. I also coach on a bunch of other community servers like Spook Luke's Discord server and Stripe's Discord server. I am also a Grand Champion 3 and a Grand Champ 2 and all the competitive standard modes. And I think that's pretty much all you need to know about me. So I'll cut all the jazz out and we will hop right into your replay analysis. Unfortunate, we get the miss there. I like the idea. You're playing a little bit aggressive, going for the boost up here. Probably expecting your teammate to go for a pass upfield to you. Looks like the start of the private game here had some issues because this guy disconnected right there. And reconnected, obviously. Nice touch. You're pretty low boost here. We should be trying to go for pads, looking around if we can. That rotation there is a little bit awkward. Once we see our teammate going up here, we know he's going to go for this ball. We have no boost, so obviously we shouldn't be going for this, and he's going to keep going this way. Instead of turning right here, I would have liked to see us just go for the small pads. I can't fly around because it's not an actual replay. It's the YouTube video here. But there are around 3 or 4 pads that you're able to pick up if you keep going this way. And they're just small pads, but with those 4 or so pads, you'll be able to get to 50 boost, and that's totally fine. Keeps the flow of the game going a lot faster for you and your teammates, and won't run into any possible awkward situations in this corner. Funny enough, it looks like we run into an awkward situation here. We can see our teammate gets beat to this ball, or he gets 50'd. Yeah, he gets 50'd, and then the ball is just flying right behind us, and now we're in this really awkward position to try to kind of keep this ball in this corner. That's what we want to do in this position. We just want to fight against this guy and put it into this corner. Basically, we want to stop this guy from passing out midfield at all costs because both of our teammates are committed into the play and they're not back anytime soon here. So we just need to try to stall, whether we kind of drive up here and try to pinch the ball up or just somewhere over here in this corner. But either way, if we had rotated earlier and gone for the small pads, we would have probably been near front post and having our car face this direction, which is much easier to kind of face this ball from that direction and put it into this corner, or get a controlled touch and lead into some good type of play, rather than kind of facing it how you are here and having to immediately turn into this. And you're probably not going to get a really good touch from this. And also, it's very possible for Malumi here to just push up and 50 over you and get it midfield. So we can see the awkward positioning here just from kind of committing to that corner boost there. Also, your teammate didn't do this, but he could have totally chosen to go for this corner boost and just let Malumi push up a little bit, and then he could have turned around and gone for 50. So if you had taken this corner boost and he just expects it to be there when he drives over, could have messed up that play too. That didn't happen, but we can see just going for the small pads originally could have been a much better situation. Nothing bad happens though. Your opponents don't capitalize on it. I don't think that's the touch you intended to get, so that's fine. This touch originally, it's probably just best to aim for their backboard. If at all possible, aiming for that backboard is best there. Because you might be able to follow it up if you have enough boost for that, or it just might go center for your teammates, and that can be very helpful. Looks like you hesitate a little bit here. I think you wanted to go for this ball, but I think you end up realizing you shouldn't go for this, which is a correct decision. Would have liked to see you rotate off of this a little bit sooner. Basically, as soon as you hit this small pad right here, it's kind of hard because the video is only 720p, so it's not great quality, but there are a bunch of small pads. There's like a diagonal small pad here that you can grab, and you can kind of go over there and kind of rotate however you want from that. So you can go over here and grab a small pad here and then rotate through however you see best fit, but you do push up a little bit too far here, and it's just a little bit too aggressive, this positioning. If we were a little bit further back, could be a little bit better, because from this, I mean, the way this 50 ended up being a little bit further back would have been much better, just because we would have been able to come at this ball a lot more aggressive. But we can see how awkward this is when we're this far pushed up. It's totally fine, though. You play it pretty patient, and that's fine. They kind of just throw away possession here, so... Okay. This is really, really aggressive positioning. I think you're trying to go for the 50 in hopes that it gets past him and goes in his net. Once we see Rusty going for this demo, we should just try to wait. And if he doesn't get the demo, then just play towards this corner and try to go for a play in that corner rather than right into his net. Because if you commit yourself at this net here, you did a good job by turning in time before you went for the 50. But if you had committed a little bit more, you would have landed somewhere in this net probably. And you don't want to commit yourself that far into the net. You also don't want to commit yourself this far at all. You really shouldn't be going for this aggressive 50 at all, because if this guy beats you in this 50, it's basically leaving your teammate in a 1v2 or 3 if this guy's able to recover fast enough and push up field. So it's a really high risk, high reward situation that you're going for here. And generally, I suggest not going for those things unless you're like a goal or 2 down and you've got a minute left on the game. Then it sometimes is okay to go for these types of plays. But when it's 0-0 with 4 minutes left, you generally want to play a lot more safe and just play conservative. And also we get demoed there. Fortunately, 50 does just give possession right back to your teammate, so that works out well. Unfortunate, Rusty missed the shot here. This is really good positioning here. You're probably hoping that Rusty throws this to the backboard and then you can fly up and get a double tap. I can't hear your comms because you're on Xbox here. But if you had the opportunity here, I don't know if you did this or if you didn't, you should try to call Rusty off of this as soon as you see this. Because Rusty is he shouldn't really have gone for this. His positioning was much more weak than yours was. Maybe you did call him off, but he just didn't react in time. That's totally fine. Once you see him jump like this, you have quite a large portion of time there to react to that jump and just not commit to the play afterwards. If you kind of butterfly your jump here, just jump once and then fly back down, that's totally fine. But you totally commit into the flip. So a little bit late reaction speed there. Once we see him just go up for that, we just leave it, honestly. Maybe you're expecting him to miss it, which if you are, then I don't really know why you would expect him to miss it, to be totally honest. I mean, he's probably close to Grand Champ or Champ 3, so if you're expecting him to miss this, or if he calls out that he's faking, then it's fine for you to go for this. But, I mean, again, there's a lot of hypotheticals here because this is 6-man's lobby, so I can't hear your comms. I don't know what might be going through yours and Rusty's head here, but if this is just solo queue, yeah, you can't really read your teammate's mind, and it's best to just trust in him rather than expect him to fail, because most of the time at this level, your teammates are going to actually perform well, and they're not going to be messing you up. I mean, we only really notice the bad that our teammates do, so it never really feels like that. But most of the time, our teammates do end up performing well. So here, he does get the touch. It looks like if we played a little bit more patient there, if we just jumped once, maybe by accident, and then fell back down, we might have been able to actually recover that and maybe get the shot. Depends how quickly we react to that. But we would have been able to cover it anyway there. This is good positioning. Good. Okay. The rotation's a little bit wide there. We should just be rotating through the center pads here. It's unfortunate because, again, I'm not in the actual replay file, so I can't fly around and show you the boost pads that you should be following here. But there are center pads that you can follow around the map here. That would have been a little bit better for you and your teammates here. And maybe eventually you could have rotated back around to this. But after you go for this ball, you kind of want to rotate to third man immediately. And the best way to do that is just go through these center pads. I mean, the video is really blurry, so you can't really see any of the center pads. But there are a bunch of center pads here that you are able to grab. And just, I think his name is SJ, something like this. The third man right now, he should be, instead of shadowing the teammate right here, he should probably be rotating center field or getting ready to go for this boost here and covering the right side of the field here, or I guess left side from this angle. And you should just be trying to rotate to third man as quickly as possible. So whatever boost pads in the moment makes sense there to grab. That's what you should do. But this is just really it's just overextending yourself when you don't need to for this boost. Obviously we want to be prepared for the worst case scenarios because, you know, once a game, a worst case scenario is going to come up. It just happens that here your opponents are pretty slow with the ball and they kind of are taking their time in the corner. So it works out for you that you're able to go for this back mid boost here. But generally at a higher level, I would expect this ball to be flying back as soon as I commit to the play. Like as soon as I get this touch, I'm expecting this guy to rebound and send it down the wall and then his teammate to go up and do some crazy stuff off the wall. You know, you basically have to be ready for that type of stuff, especially in 6-man lobbies where people are a lot more coordinated. So just get back as quickly as possible. Works out for you though. No big deal. Okay. If you are going to go for this, just drive challenge up the wall. You never ever, okay, I shouldn't say never ever, because there are situations where you might be a little bit faster than him and you might be able to beat him to this ball. But here, he's very obviously beating us to this wall, and that's going to make it so he's able to jump off the wall faster than we can. Also, if we ever want to go for these types of dive challenges off the wall, you never ever really want to do it from your opponent's corner, because if you end up missing it, which most of the time you will when you go for these wall dive challenges, it's going to overextend yourself so much into the play, and your teammates are going to be left dealing with 2v3 for quite some time, and then, you know, you don't want them to be in that position. You want to be able to get in and get out as quickly as possible. So here it's just best to drive up the wall. Once you see him start to jump off the wall and throw it away, then you can just drive down and rotate however you see best fit there. But this is just really, really bad because we can see Rusty rotating back here. So, I mean, this is basically a 2v1. Rusty actually got a really nice bump here, so makes it more of a one-on-one. But still, one-on-ones you don't really want. You want to always have the majority of players be ready on this ball. So, works out for you, though, for you and your teammates there. Unfortunate. When we are going for these saves, how I learned to go for these types of awkward saves where it's flying off my backboard and I'm kind of racing back to get it, try to actually read the double touch how you would play an aggressive. So like if you're trying to score this from his perspective, try to actually score it, but just like at the last second, try to mess it up and aim kind of back at the backboard, either to the right or to the left. In this position, you probably want to aim to the right. That's how I learned it. I just kind of treated it like an actual double touch. Here, it looks like you're trying to go for the block off of Malumi's touch, which is a lot riskier, and you basically never want to try to do that because you never know. You don't know how fast his touch is going to be. So getting this type of read, you're probably expecting him to get the double touch here and try to save it. You don't really want to go for that. Instead, you should try to go for the actual double touch. Just pinch it off this wall if possible, or just smack it into this right corner here. Gets the goal. All good. That's a pretty difficult save, the way you tried to do it there, so I can understand why we missed that. good. I think you power slided maybe when you landed here. I couldn't quite tell. It's hard to tell from the YouTube video. But when we do land there, it's best as power slide. Just good for recoveries, obviously. Oh my. I almost hit that. It's crazy. Let's see. Our positioning's pretty solid here. It looks like our teammates kind of messed up and went for a double commit, so we're all good. Obviously, this touch was not great, and honestly, once you see both players here commit for the play, I don't know why we panicked afterwards. After this happens, we don't really need to panic. I think you panic here and you're expecting an opponent to immediately challenge afterwards, which really doesn't make sense because you're the only opponent that could challenge this is last man back, and we saw him far left field here. I believe I'd have to go back and look. Yeah, so far left field here, he's rotating back, trying to get boost, probably this corner, or just rotating midfield and grabbing the small pads. So it really, I think it's actually impossible for him to challenge it that quickly. We could have taken our time there, just a little bit of time to maybe catch that a little bit better, because that first touch is really, really important. It's okay to take time to get a better first touch, and you can take less time when you're getting the touches afterwards, because, you know, after that first touch, you know, your opponents are probably going to want to apply pressure immediately, and you have to go and react a little bit faster and kind of do maybe unpredictable things. But for your first touch, you really want to make sure that's a solid touch, because that's going to dictate how the rest of your play is going to end up working for you. So this first touch is obviously really poor, so the rest of the play is kind of just scuffed from there. It goes into the wall, and then you kind of overcommit into the wall, and we can see how awkward it leaves your teammates. They just obviously shouldn't be expecting you to slip up like that. So yeah, just take more time on our first touches there. Good job rotating front post. Very good job blocking all the spots you had to there. It's good that you went for this type of block here instead of, you know, jumping out a lot further, or trying to predict a pass. A lot of players, what they'll end up doing is trying to predict Malumi's hit here and pass, which it looks like you might have done, but you didn't fully do. You kind of, you played it well. I don't need to explain it. You got a good touch there. Okay. That first touch, that's a pretty good first touch. It's just how we follow it up afterwards. We have 0 boost here. And we try to cut it to the left here at midfield. Probably you're trying to pass to your teammates. Generally, when you're on 0 boost, you don't really want to pass to your teammates. Instead, you want to go for your opponent's corners, and try to go for a bunch of 50s. And once you get 150 off, or depending how it works out, if you get 150 and it's still in your possession, then go for another 50. But once you get a 50 and lose possession of the ball, then you just rotate out, grab small pads. But here you should probably be trying to dribble this into your opponent's right corner over here. If you try to dribble it out midfield and your teammates aren't able to react fast enough, which is reasonable because, you know, you have tons of boost when you're going on the wall. So but yeah, when we're at 0 boost like this, basically anytime we're at 0 boost and we're trying to go for a dribble play, it's very situational, but most of the time you want to be going for these corners. You want to be going for the corners and going for 50s. That's the big thing. 50s are really, really important when you're low boost and you're going for a dribble play. When you don't have enough space to set up a flick or a power shot or a pass to your teammate, here you don't have enough space. Even this guy, he's not going to give you enough space to set up a pass. He's going to be able to read any pass you give to your teammates, especially when you have 0 boost. It's not going to be fast enough for this guy to not be able to react to it. So when we have 0 boost like this, we just kind of have to play dumpster truck mode and just sit behind it like a rock and try to go for any solid 50s that we can. And generally when you are going for these 50s, you do want to try to aim center field or pass to your teammates wherever your teammates are, but in this play they're center field. So if we are going for the 50, we probably want to aim center. Here we just kind of we give them too much space on the ball here. we can see, well, we just pass it away. First of all, that's not even a 50. But if we did go for the 50 here, we're really far on the right side of the ball here. So we're going to very easily lose this ball just right past us and our teammate right here. We'd want to say a lot more solid for the 50 there. Yeah, it looks like, oh, okay, that wasn't a goal. It's too slow. Fortunately, SJ was able to get back for that in time. Okay. Probably shouldn't have rotated back post. We're second man in this play. If you see only one teammate, that means you're second man, and your teammate's behind you and to your left somewhere, most likely. So we should just rotate front post here. Honestly, I would have rotated front post up here. Expecting my teammate to probably have a more solid touch on this. He ends up losing it, so it's probably from your perspective, it makes sense to maybe go for back post rotations here. But normally your teammate should have had a more solid touch here and controlled it a little bit better in this corner. So we should have rotated up front post here, and our third man should rotate third post here, and we should, or not third post, back post here, and we should just trust him to get our backs if this ball flies over us, which we can see that would have happened if we rotate front post here. Then the ball would have flown above us, and Rusty obviously would have a much better time getting to that ball. Okay. So again, we're on 0 boost. It looks like we're starved a lot this game. We're using up a lot of unnecessary boost. I mean, we have 24 boost here. We don't need to use it. Look how much space we have between ourselves and Malumi. Also, we just throw away possession right after. Look at that. We have all the space in the world there. Even if we just have 24 boosts there, we want to keep possession. We don't want to throw away possession. Possession is such a key part of this game, and it's really just how the game is dictated by who holds possession the most. Most likely, whoever holds the possession the longest in the game is going to end up winning, just because they can turn that possession into flicks, into power shots, into passes, instead of just going for these really just powerful shots that are going to pretty easily give away possession to our opponents. So yeah, we just gotta utilize our space on the field a little bit better here, and also not waste boost. We had 24 boost here that we didn't really need to waste. Yeah, I mean we're so low boost this whole time, and I think it's because we're missing too many of these small pads, or we're a little bit maybe we are thinking we need to get into position immediately, and we're just missing the small pads on the way. Which I know I used to struggle when I was playing 6-man, so I was like, oh, I got to get in position immediately. I can't let my teammates down. But that grabbing those small pads are going to be really, really important for you. So make sure you're grabbing them when you're rotating to your position. Nice demo. I would have looked for a second demo there, honestly. After you get the first demo here, just go for the second one. You have the opportunity, plenty of space to go for that second demo. And it might result in a goal, so it's definitely worth it. It's not really that risky to go for a second demo there. Okay, we're flipping too much here. Once we hit supersonic speed, we can see the white lines in our trail here. We don't need to flip anymore. All you have to do is hold gas, and you don't need to use any boost. You just hold gas, and it's going to keep your speed up here. If you make really small turns too, it's not going to slow you down. You'll maintain that supersonic speed. If you make really tight turns, then it will slow you down, but you don't need to continue flipping here. When you continue flipping like this, it actually just slows you down. So just keeping the friction between yourself and the ground here, and keeping at that supersonic speed is best for you. Probably doesn't make a difference here, but it's good advice to know just how that kind of game mechanic works. Good, really solid job rotating front post there. Whoa. What a pinch. Ooh, I kind of like that. I kind of like going for that corner boost up there. Very aggressive, and you definitely have the space to do this. This is a good idea. Now we should just rotate out. Let our third man go for this. Ooh, okay. Again, 6 mans. So if you are calling out that you're going for this, this is absolutely fine. In a solo queue situation where you don't have comms, this wouldn't be that great. You'd want to just rotate out and let your teammates go for this because they have more momentum coming at this ball than you would because, you know, they're further back on the field, so they have a lot more space to gather momentum than you do when you just do this tight turn and you don't really have much space between yourself and the ball. And you just get dived. So if you did call out going for that there, then that's totally fine. Okay, this is a little bit too aggressive positioning. I think you said you were champ 1 or champ 2. I might be wrong with that. You might have said you were champ 3, somewhere in the champ range. So I kind of understand. This is a very common thing that happens when lower ranked players play with higher ranked players, where they don't respect their opponents enough, or they respect them too much. So here we ended up not respecting our opponent enough. We gave him basically, we didn't separate ourselves from our teammate here enough. And it's very, very possible for Marimo here to get this ball and just get a really powerful touch over both you and Rusty here. So we're a little bit too close to your teammates here. When you get into higher ranks, you kind of keep more space between yourself and your teammates. And so at the lower ranks, you usually stay a little bit closer to your teammates here. So I can understand why this might have been just a subconscious thing you did where you pushed up really close with Rusty here. But you did push up much too close here. Both of our teammates are committed into this corner right here. So if Marimo gets to this ball, it's gonna basically just fly right over us, and we'll be scrambling back to get any type of clear save that we can, and we just kind of want to avoid that situation. If we probably want to be behind the halfway point here, and just kind of sit patiently, let Rusty go for this ball, and as we see, I can't tell if that's SJ or BJ, but this guy right here, once we see him start to rotate out and we see him kind of pass behind us, that's when we have the cue to go forward. That's when we know we have time to go forward, and we have the security of that third man behind us. When we're third man, we really just don't want to go for this type of play. You only really, I mean, unless you're like a pro team and you've coordinated this stuff, you don't really want to play a super deep third man like you are right here. This is called a deep third man, and you'll probably hear that term quite a lot in 6-mans. And people get upset with people who play a deep third man. So generally, it's not really that good. You only want to do it when you're like 2 goals or 1 goal down and you have a minute left. So you still have half the game left here. You have plenty of time. You don't really need to be rushing to get a goal here. And these games or these sets are like best of 5 sets. So you have all the time in the world. It's not really that big of a deal to lose this one game because you have the other games to come back. It's better to just stay solid, let your teammates get comfortable with you here, and just play solid. Yeah, so keep on going. And yeah, we can see that ends up happening. It just kind of flies over us, and we're not really prepared in time, so we're scrambling back. I didn't even realize that was going to happen here. So yeah, we're just scrambling back to get to this ball, and we're trying to get any contact with the ball that we can at this point. Looks like he gets a really solid pass out. He kind of messes it up, though, so goes straight to SJ. SJ actually recovered this really well. Yeah, Rigby just kind of messed it up. But yeah, it was a really dangerous situation. Even though nothing really came of it, the most dangerous thing here was him getting a better pass out to teammate midfield. And he just kind of messed up his pass. So okay, we're really low boost here, and we're playing right underneath our teammate. I'm not sure if you know Rusty's in front of you here. It makes actually more sense for Rusty to rotate behind you. Honestly, Rusty, I don't know if he calls out that he's going to play upfield for SJ here. If he does call out, then just sit back, grab small pads around the map, play that solid third man. Don't push past this halfway line if you're third man most of the time. Because when you do push that past that halfway line, it's called a deep third man, and we want to avoid that. So this is good though. They don't really get a powerful touch, so we're able to collect pretty easily. But this is really, I mean, we can see how risky this is. If I mean, SJ loses contact with the ball here. So if Marimo beats Rusty to this ball and places it even remotely on target towards our net at a high speed, it's just going to be a goal. This is going straight over our heads because we didn't give enough space between ourselves and our teammates on this play. We didn't respect them enough, so or respect our opponents enough. But he just messes it up, so we're able to collect here. Good job getting over him. Nice. Nice try going for the demo. Good job rotating out. Really glad you did that. Rotating out there is absolutely wonderful. A lot of players will just kind of sit under the ball here awkwardly and try to make a play out of it. So it's really good that you didn't even consider that and you just went for their corner boost here. Good job. Okay. Looks like we're holding drift a little bit long here when we're landing on this kickoff. We kind of just slide right past the ball. Kickoffs are really niche, and a lot of the times in threes they don't really matter. So just point this out that you did hold power slide too long here, and you just, I mean, we don't have any contact on that ball for the 50. So pretty easily we can lose that ball to that back corner there. Ooh, okay. Missed the corner or the mid boost there. It's fine though. Good. This is all good. Okay. Again, we can take more time with this. We have a lot of space on the field here. We can see how far Malumi is here. We can see, honestly, the biggest threat right here is the guy actually behind us here. This guy right here, the biggest threat is him driving down and then just back passing this ball to Malumi over here. So we still have time though. That's not going to happen very quickly. We have time for this to just pop up. If we're not comfortable with this, it's totally okay. Just let it fall down. Once you see the trajectory of this, we can align ourselves a little bit better with it and then jump up for it. It is good to play outside of your comfort zone because that is how you improve. So playing six mans, it's probably out of your comfort zone, and that's really good. You want to play that way, but you're probably overwhelmed with a lot of things when you're playing six mans. Honestly, just work on one thing at a time. That's the best way to be improving in Rocket League, to just work on one thing at a time, make that one thing uncomfortable for you. And once that becomes uncomfortable, or once the uncomfortable thing becomes comfortable, you work on the next thing and make that uncomfortable. So you go a little bit faster on that. And you just kind of do that with all the skills that you have in Rocket League. So maybe this is a skill you want to work on. You want to be able to go up for these balls a lot faster, and if that's the skill you want to work on, it's fine. It's okay to go for this and just kind of mess it up, because you have to mess up before you do it right. So if this is the skill you want to work on, just being faster to these types of balls that bounce down, totally okay. But honestly, if you're playing six mans for one of the first times, I'd just try to play solid. And because honestly, six mans, it's really stressful to have comms and try to focus on those, and then kind of intake the comms from your teammates. And you're probably playing at a lot faster pace just in general than you're used to. So take your time on this. You have plenty of time here. That's what I would suggest to you. But if you are just trying to improve that part of your gameplay where you're able to read those bounces, then it's okay. I don't blame you. Really, really good pass from Rusty. Actually, amazing pass from Rusty. He totally carried in this play. Good finish from you too. You had to hit that on target. So, good job. Okay. Again, kickoffs, they don't matter that much for threes. So if you're trying to lose this, it's totally fine. But when you're trying to win these types of kickoffs, normally you want to flip towards the center of the ball. So here you speed flip to your left. It's better to speed flip to the right if you're trying to win the kickoff, because we cover more of the ball that way. And usually when you cover more of the ball, you're gonna end up winning those 50s just more often. So not all players do this. I see a lot of even just pro players in 3v3s. They do this where they speed flip in the wrong direction. They don't speed flip towards the center, and a lot of the times they're doing that because they're actually trying to lose the kickoff. So if that's what you're trying to do here, it's totally fine. But if you are trying to win the kickoff, it's best to flip towards the ball. So it would be right here. Grab mid boost, that's good. Okay, we should rotate back post. Really good job. A little bit awkward on our power slide there. We hold it for a little bit too long here. Honestly, for this power slide here, we really only want to use the power slide here to actually be turning. So we have momentum going this way. We can see we flip, and then we're trying to turn kind of mid flip here. We go for a flip, and then we're trying to turn around immediately. If you are trying to turn around immediately, you want to basically hold power slide for the slightest amount of time possible. When you land here, let go of it, press it again, because when you hold power slide during that whole duration, it's actually the momentum that you gathered from that flip. It's going to be going this way. So if you hold power slide, it's just going to keep you going towards that direction. So we really just want to hold power slide for a very short period of time, so it kind of yanks us towards this way. And then we kind of just want to lightly tap it until we're facing this way. Power slide is it's a difficult concept to teach to people. It's basically just a drift, and you kind of just have to get comfortable with it yourself. But here, if you watch pro gameplay at all, and if you look at their kind of controller layout, if the streamer or if the pro player has a controller layout, if you find their drift button is, you'll notice when they're drifting around the field, they don't hold it. They like tap it at really quick speeds, and it's because it's a lot faster to actually turn around when you're lightly tapping it rather than just holding it around. And it keeps their momentum going a lot faster. So it's just good to get in that habit of, instead of holding power slide, to just tap it a little bit more here. So far, honestly, we're 4 minutes and 30 seconds into this game right now, or the YouTube video. And you haven't had that many common mistakes. I think the biggest mistake that I've seen a few times now is where we're pushing up a little bit too far. We're not trusting our teammates too much, or we're not, or maybe we're focusing on too many different things at once, and we need to take a little bit more time. So that's pretty much the biggest thing. There aren't any crazy glaring mistakes that are coming out to me. I mean, small pads we're missing here and there, but I think you're trying your best to grab them, which is good. Yeah, I mean, this should have been a goal for our opponents here. As soon as we mess up this wave dash, we're kind of just overcommitted into front post there. Should have been a double tap for them, but they messed it up. Okay. Again, look at the position here. Where are our opponents? This is very similar position before. We have two opponents that have double committed into this play right here. We have all the time in the world. They both turn off of it. We can even see them turn off of it there. We have a lot of time to just let this go for this. And even if they turn around for this, it's totally fine, because they're not going to 50 this in a dangerous position. Most likely, if they're going for this, it's just going to give away possession to our third man. And that's okay. We're fine with them giving away possession. So take our time here. We have two teammates double committed, or opponents double committed into play there. Third man, it's very, very unlikely that he's going to go for this immediately. It doesn't really make sense for him. I wouldn't see him doing that at any point. So it's totally safe to just take our time there. We don't need to rush that play. And we can see how late it takes until our opponents actually get to this. Right? Off of our touch right here, it's 1, 2, 3, 3.5 seconds right there. Until the guy actually challenged us, and he challenged the ball at a much wider angle, so it would have probably been like 4 seconds for him to turn around in time. Obviously, this play is really awkward for us. We don't see what's in front of us here. So I can understand why we panic in this situation. This is really common where people just panic when the ball is directly above them. They don't know how to handle this. So honestly, just press the brakes. Let the ball drop in front of us. Let us see the play. If we see someone's challenging immediately, that's fine. We go for the 50. And if we lose it, so what? It's possession for our teammates. If we win it, then that's great. Then we can just continue the play. It's not really that big of a deal to just let this drop in front of us and go for a 50. 50s are really, really key in 3v3s, and it's really good to just practice those a lot. So I understand this being awkward for you. I don't expect your mechanical abilities to be able to just jump up for this immediately and turn it into an air dribble, because at my rank, that's what would happen. This would turn into an air dribble. But instead, I would rather just have you play this safe, let this drop down, play the solid play, and just go for the 50s and play it that way. Because that's going to be a lot better for you long term if you can get into that habit of just kind of playing those 50-50s, letting it drop down in front of you. And you'll have plenty of time, honestly. I don't think you'd even have to go for the 50 here. I think if you're able to catch this, that you'd be able to turn it into a flick to the backboard, or just into some type of dribble play that would be a lot more threatening. So yeah, just take more time there. Okay. Rotating front post is, I guess if you're expecting SJ to be back a little bit sooner. Yeah, no. You shouldn't really be expecting that. What we should have done here is rotate back post. So we could have grabbed this pad right here, and there's a pad right there too. And then you can turn around and be back post here with like 24 boost, which is enough to save anything across the whole net here. Unless it's like crazy fast or something. But the ball's going towards this corner. If we're back post, it's a lot more safe because you never know what can happen. If Marine, this guy right here, can't really read his name, but if this guy right here just goes for a drive play and just drives at the ball, it's going to go straight over our heads on the backboard, and it's going to be too awkward for us to jump up in time and save that. So it's just going to fly over us and probably land somewhere center field, and this guy's going to be able to just drive over and clean up. Also, this guy might be looking for a bump on us. So if we're further back post, we're able to jump up in time. We have more time to react to this demo play. Back post just gives us a lot more options that make a lot more sense here. So okay. I don't know if he was trying to go for the passing play here, but it was actually really smart if he did try to go for the pass, because that's a very unexpected play for him to go for the pass instead of shot there. So if he did call it pass and you're ready for it, then kudos to you. Otherwise, it's also fine for you to pretty much be placed right here. Be ready to be ready for this guy to save it and just collect it on somewhere on this left side of the screen here. Or if Rusty aims for the backboard, then you can jump up and go for a double touch. So this is pretty good positioning from you. This is all fine. Okay. Honestly, we can just sit back post here. Just hit the brakes and sit back post. Again, I don't need to explain to you all the good things that come with back post, but it's too risky to sit like this in the net. Just too many variables can happen where you're just not able to save it. I've recently heard quite a few of my clients talk about staying tucked in the net to avoid demos coming across. So if that's what you're trying to do here, that's a good concept to get behind, and generally that's a good thing to do. But if it's going to overcommit yourself into going for a front post position here, you don't really want to do that. And most of the time, if you are going to tuck inside of the net here, you don't actually want your car facing out like this. You still want to be aligned kind of in this direction here. It makes it a lot easier to save really any of the shots that come at us, and we can approach the ball much better. if we are aligned on that direction here. Because if we're tucked away in the net, back post here, and we're facing this way, and we have a ball that's just sitting right here, or not sitting, but coming at us from right over there, we're able to challenge that much better than we are if we're sitting back post and our cars face this direction, because we kind of have to turn and then, well, if it's back post, we have time to probably turn and readjust ourselves in time. But front post here, when we're pushed up like this, it's a lot riskier because we can't really cross this line in time to get to the ball. We'll probably have to challenge the ball right here, which we don't really want to do. We don't want to do it right in front of our net. So yeah, back post here is really the main thing. A little bit of an awkward touch, a little bit soft. Again, what are we doing here? We're panicking. Look at that. Double commit, triple commit. They're all in this corner right here. If we take our time to go and line this up, even if it's not that powerful and we just hit it center field here, Rusty's probably going to be able to just drive down and go for a redirect on this. So we can even aim just anywhere on this side of the field. And it's probably going to be a goal. If you get enough power on this ball, it's probably going to be a goal. So take our time there. Really, really big deal. Fortunately, your weak touch here doesn't result in anything too bad. Okay, again, too aggressive positioning here. It looks like it's your teammate actually gets 50'd here, so good example. We push up too far. This guy's gonna get 50 immediately. We turn back here, but we don't really want to be coming at the ball with our butt facing towards it like this direction. We don't want to be facing this direction. When the ball's coming this way, we kind of want to be facing this direction. Sorry, let me erase the arrow. We want to be facing this direction because it makes more sense, right? It's just better to challenge the ball from that angle. I mean, I don't really have to explain that to you. It makes more sense to challenge it from this angle than it does to challenge it from the side of your car. The front of your car obviously is going to have a lot more power, and it's going to be able to turn a lot faster and react in a lot of different directions rather than the side of your car would be. You kind of have a cone of control with your car, and right now your cone of control is facing this direction right here. And maybe a little bit around your car because you can flip in different directions, right? We don't really want that. We want our cone to be facing in this direction, right? It just makes more sense. So if we had positioned ourselves a little bit further back here, if we just hit the brakes here, let BJ push up, just play it safe as the third man, then we'd very easily have the front of our car facing this ball at a much easier angle. We actually recover it really well though, so good job to you. Good job. Good job rotating out, grabbing those small pads. Nice. Okay. Okay. I guess you are panicked here. Just again, we're panicked all the time here. We have lots of boost here. The way that this ball is coming, it doesn't actually make sense for us to go for this ball. It makes more sense for Rusty to go at this ball because he's covering more of the net than we are. And also he's going to have more momentum towards this ball than we are. Honestly, I did not expect this third man from blue here to actually go for this ball. It doesn't really make sense for Marino here to go for this ball. It's really, really risky because if Rusty had actually played that a little bit faster there and gone up for the ball, then it would have been really dangerous for blue. But I think blue are just trying to make a last ditch effort here. They have 30 seconds left and they need to score a goal. So makes sense if they're playing like a super deep third man there, I guess. So just play really solid here. We don't need to actually challenge this ball. We can just kind of sit here, let the play go as we see. And if we see Rusty push up and we see him kind of clear into some play, then we can push up with him. If we see that this guy challenges, then we're totally fine. We just let Rusty deal with it because he's obviously facing it better than we are. You play it pretty well though for the most part there. Didn't make that many mistakes. Oh. Again, we are throwing away possession when we don't need to. I think we're low boost, so we're just thinking that we can't really keep it close to us, but we do have a lot of time to keep this close to us. We can see how far away our opponents are. Again, we give away possession there. We don't really need to. We have plenty of time to wait here. Even if they just challenge us immediately as soon as it falls to the ground here, it's not close enough to our net to where it can actually be dangerous. We should be able to get any good 50 into this corner here, and it's totally fine for us. They'd basically just be overcommitting into the play. But when you're low on time like this, possession is even more important than it is normally. When it's low time, having possession is so important because you can just cut off time slowly and slowly by just wasting it in your corner or wherever you go on the field. You can just sit there basically, and they have to challenge you. And having that power is super, super beneficial for you and your teammates. So throwing this away, it basically just gives them another chance to come back and win this in overtime. And we want to avoid that. We want to avoid that at all costs. Good clear from our teammate there. In this position, it's okay for our teammate to clear. Here, he can't really get possession. From that position, you can't really get possession. From your position, though, you had possession, basically. But we just kind of threw it away. So good clear from him. We should rotate back post here, just stay solid. Let our teammate go up for it. And they just kind of throw it away. There we go. And that's the game. All right. Well, Steaky, I hope you learned some valuable things from this, maybe had some insight. The main things I would have you work on would be, they're more aimed at 6-mans because 6-mans is just a completely different environment than playing in ranked. Because you're playing with higher level people than you are used to. So when you are playing 6-mans lobbies, I want you to be prepared to only really be focusing on one thing at a time that you're not comfortable doing. So in these higher lobbies, you're probably playing at a much faster pace than you're used to, making decisions a lot faster than you're used to doing them. Also, you're working on comms at the same time, so I want you to try to just focus on one of those. Just pick one out and work on that until you get kind of more comfortable with it, and then work on the next thing, and then the next thing, and you know how it goes from there. Also, we're pushing up a little bit too close behind our teammates when we're third man. We don't want to be pushed up that far. We really only push up that far. We only play that deep third man when it's absolutely desperate. So don't do that. You want to play a lot more solid, especially in 6-mans games. We don't want to trigger our teammates from playing a deep third man. We could have picked up a few more small pads here and there. It wasn't that big of a deal. You grabbed most of the small pads. At one point, I think you were flipping a little bit too much when you were already going at supersonic speed. So if you're doing that a lot in your games, then obviously stop doing it because it's just inefficient. And also, don't give away possession. We want to be taking more of our time, or taking more time on our plays. We want to let the ball just fall to the ground, let it fall down, let us turn it into dribble play, and creep up closer. Go for those 50s. When we're on low boost, especially go for 50s. That's all really, really important. So if you have a notepad, write all those things I just said down. This is a YouTube video, so thankfully you can go back and watch this again if you missed something. For training packs, I suggest you work on just some bounce power shot types of training packs. If you want, you can DM me on Discord. Hopefully you can find me on Discord. Otherwise, if you can find your own training packs, that's great too. But basically any training packs that involve turning like a high bounce where it's falling down into a dribble, that's going to be really valuable for you because we saw that position a lot in your games and we were a little bit uncomfortable in those positions. And also when it bounced off the ground, popped up in the air, and going for those, we had a few situations where that was a little bit awkward for us. So I think those are called, bounce power shots, maybe? I'm not sure if there's a technical name for it, but I know there are training packs out there for them. So I can definitely hook you up with some of those if you DM me on Discord. Other than that, I think that is the end of the replay analysis here. If you thought I did a good job as coach, I always appreciate a review in the #review channel in Rocket League Help. If you thought I did a bad job, then let me know. I appreciate any constructive criticism you can give me. Yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have. So have a good rest of your day, and see you later.